Yeah, so welcome back to part three, uh, possibly the last part, the final part. And I made some notes because I really want this whole, these three videos to land, to make sense, to not just be talking about, um, but how it all ties into each other. So, in part one and two, I spoke about how my nervous system learned that love is not all inclusive, which is not true. But yeah, I just learned in order to be loved, to receive love, to receive attention, I needed to regulate everybody else. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with co regulation, but as long as people don't learn to regulate themselves, yeah, they're gonna attract people who either deregulate their system or regulate it for them. And this is codependency. And I see it especially with, let's say, people who want to be independent uh, instead of interdependent. Because independency, it's not like the full. It's not. It's usually people don't end up very well balanced. They usually end up alone. Well, okay. So I learned to regulate everybody else's problems, their drama, hold space for their trauma, uh, take the pressure off, take the load off, and yeah, I mean, if the other person, and I'm also talking about myself, keeps building up pressure, push pressure on the pressure cooker, then of course at some point it's gonna explode. It needs to explode. It needs to like deflate itself. And usually, all of this comes from ego inflation. Like the ego wants to feel important. The ego wants to be noticed. The ego wants to be validated. Once you get beyond that stage of needing validation, needing constant approval, and just notice that this is how you learn to be loved, then things can slowly change. And I say slowly on purpose because it's not like, now I get it, so I'm done. No. I mean, I basically became my own pressure vault. Uh, Never allowed to become angry because I know how terrible it feels when someone pro- projects their anger upon you, upon me. Me tiptoeing through life, and this is like a typical thing that is it's in it's mostly in my mother's line, the female line, and the male line, and some part my stepdad, and also in my biological father's, and that's a difficult one, but yeah, I remember my granddad from my father's side. He he didn't want to rely on people. He didn't want to bother people. So yeah, always, no, don't bother. I'll take care of myself. Yeah, no, he didn't. He was surviving, always surviving. So yeah, this whole pressure vault thing, that became my operating system. The caretaker, the using my feelers to always feel as someone is safe, or some situation is safe, because never allowed myself to feel unsafe. Okay, it's starting to rain, but and the sun is shining. I'll keep going. So this became my lens. This became how I looked at life. Like they need me to show them the way. And this is how I became the teacher. And this is how I, a couple of years ago, started again my own website, offering coaching, guidance, one-on-one sessions. And yeah, gladly, that never took off. That never really worked. I made a beautiful website, still there, doing a wonderful job, just being there. No, later on it became the platform for my writings in Dutch, and I really enjoyed writing, but it also meant that I was more and more doing my own thing, more and more being focused on what I wanted. And yeah, that didn't sit well on the other side, if you know what I mean. So, all these survival mechanisms that we develop from a young age, uh, they're just there to make sense of life, to make sense of love, to yeah, it's a to have some form of control. But yeah, if when you're not really taking care of your own needs, then how can you ever start to really take care of your other someone else's needs? Because you're not really taking care of someone else's needs if you don't take care of your own needs. You also always be fixing things, but fixing things, they will continue messing up. uh, so website, writing, and now my own YouTube channel. It did some great work for me because it made so clear where my boundaries are. And with boundaries, well, let's go over them one by one. So, first of all, physical boundaries. Yeah, I already explained. She no longer wanted to be sexual, and then the intimacy slowly faded. No more kissing on the lips, no more this, no more that. But still, like, yeah, I'm okay with a massage. But I'm not okay when this massage leads to something else. This just didn't sit right with me. I mean, yeah, you can call it friendship, but it was way more than friendship. So on a physical level, I had to learn to say no to certain things, like certain areas be off limit, certain ways of touching me were off limit, and if there's a, as I spoke before, if there's like a giving and receiving, then it's fine with me because then it's more like an exchange. Yeah, but that didn't happen. It was always me, the giver, how I experienced. And then, okay, on the emotional level, I remember that at some point I noticed how my inner child felt safer with her than with me. And this was like a huge shift, like a pivotal point for me. I mean, what does it what does it take? What what does it take for me to feel safe? And it's funny how things, loop back. For me to feel safe, I need to know my boundaries. I need to know when to walk away. I need to know when to say no. And yeah, so in that period, I met new people. I met new situations where I could practice like, no, this doesn't feel right. No, I don't want this anymore. Yeah, you wanna travel to Bali with me? Fine, but we're gonna stay in a separate place. That for me was like a clear emotional boundary. So I could do my own thing in the morning, do my own thing at night, and during the day I was fine sharing, being, having a meal, a coffee, a cigarette, having fun. But I don't know, something was changing already there, and I think this is the next level for me mentally, because I was writing about consciousness, awareness, awakening, the shift. Um, yeah, I was really being focused on all this, and she was not interested. At first, a little, but yeah, of course, uh, this was also the period where I found out how much validation I was looking for. Yeah, I needed people to reply to my writings. I made a newsletter, and I wanted I wanted it to be an exchange, not just me writing something and you reading it whenever. And yeah, especially when I started recording videos, I noticed how much uh, changed in how I related to people. Um, if during a talk I noticed there's like a back and forth, there's like an exchange, an open exchange, no expectations, then I feel I can connect with the person. But as soon as expectations arise or limitations, and I don't mean boundaries. I mean, if someone has clear boundaries, then I actually respect that. But if someone starts pointing out limitations and I have to take notice of those limitations, those are not boundaries. Those are uh, responsibilities. And it's not my responsibility to set your boundaries. it's my responsibility to respect your boundaries. Major difference. Okay, lastly, on a spiritual level, I've been developing myself, especially through this channel. Well, talking into all these concepts from lived experience, from lived awareness, it made really clear where I am at this point, how how much aware I am of all of it, and how much I actually live like this. And yeah, it's not to brag; it's just to validate myself. Like, okay, so this is where I'm at, and everybody have their own space, their own pace, their own tempo. I'm not saying you're behind and I'm far ahead. No, this is just where I'm at, and yeah, you are where you are at. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, so one thing that has become my mantra a long time ago, that became my mantra a long time ago. Um, Someone in the Bentinho community said, feel it, see it, be it, and uh, feel it like, okay, so you are overstepping my boundaries. See it, okay, so this is, I do this because, yeah, I always needed to take care of everybody. I needed to make sure everybody's okay. And then be it didn't make sense. So I changed it to be okay with it. Accept that this is how you learned to regulate others. This is how you learned to receive love. This is how you viewed love for a long time until you realized there's no such thing as unconditional love and conditional love. No, love is unconditional by definition. So as soon as there's conditions added to love, it's no longer love. It's just neediness or fear. So where did it all end for me? Let's see. Where it ended for my relationship and where it started for me is when I could no longer say yes automatically. There was this one moment, she was in a desperate place. I can totally understand how hard and difficult this must have been for her at that moment, but I just felt like it's been enough. It's been enough for a long time. I can no longer automatically say yes. I need time to process this. And in the end, it just made very clear to me that the not automatic yes was a clear no. And it was not like I was saying no to her problems, to taking care of her. No, it was saying yes to me. Uh, no longer leaving myself, no longer abandoning myself, no longer just giving ground because I was needed. I couldn't anymore. So clear. And now still, I'm still struggling. I'm still like trying to figure out. So, what does it mean saying yes to me? Saying like really yes to me. Yeah, which also includes saying no to impulses, to mm, longings, sometimes even saying no to certain feelings or emotions or thoughts. Just say no, 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 no. I can see the inclination, the the impulse to no, relax, let it go. All right, that's it, folks. Feels a bit weird to record like this with notes and all, not just following my own flow. But yeah, thank you.